This next story was shared with me by one of my listeners. Hello everyone. My name is Sarah, and this is something that happened many years ago when I was just a little girl. Even now, as an adult, I still remember every detail as if it happened yesterday. Back then, my family lived in a small town. It was the kind of place where everyone knew everyone, and most of the houses on our street were always filled with people, laughter, and noise. But there was one house that stood strangely empty. It was a large two-story place, old and weathered, with peeling paint and shuttered windows. The yard was overgrown, and the whole property gave off a feeling that it didn't belong on our street. Everyone just called it the Vacant house. As children, we were naturally curious. A group of us would gather after school to ride our bikes, play tag, or just run around the neighborhood. And somehow, we always ended up near that house. At first, it was just dares. Someone would shout, "I bet you can't touch the front door and run back," or "Go stand on the porch for 5 seconds." We were kids, reckless, playful, and eager to prove ourselves. But deep down, we all knew there was something strange about that place. Whenever we got too close, the air felt different, heavy, still. The laughter from our games seemed to fade as soon as we stepped onto that property, and the silence was almost unbearable. One afternoon, as the sun was beginning to set, my friends and I were gathered outside the house again. The sky was painted in orange and red, and the shadows of the trees stretched long across the ground. One of the older kids said, "Let's go inside." We froze. Nobody had ever gone beyond the porch before. The idea of stepping inside that dark, empty place sent chills through me. But of course, none of us wanted to be the coward. After a moment of nervous laughter and teasing, we agreed. The front door, surprisingly, wasn't locked. It creaked loudly as we pushed it open, and the sound echoed through the empty rooms like a scream. The air inside was cold, colder than outside, and it smelled of dust and something else, something rotten. We stepped in cautiously, our shoes crunching against the floor. The house was dark, the windows covered, but enough light filtered through the cracks to see broken furniture, peeling wallpaper, and cobwebs hanging from the corners. That's when we heard it. The sound of footsteps upstairs. Light, quick footsteps like children running. We all stopped, frozen in place. One of my friends whispered, "Did you hear that?" Before anyone could answer, we heard giggling. Children's laughter, faint but clear, drifting down from the second floor. At first, we thought maybe another group of kids had beaten us there, but something about the sound wasn't right. It was distant, echoing, as if it didn't belong to the space we were in. We should have left then, but curiosity got the better of us. Slowly, we climbed the staircase, our hands gripping the dusty banister. Each step groaned under our weight, and with every creak, the laughter grew softer, almost as if the children upstairs knew we were coming. At the top of the stairs was a long hallway with several doors. We pushed the first one open, but the room was empty. The second door, empty too. The third, empty too. Nothing but dust and broken boards. But from the last room at the end of the hall, we heard it again. The unmistakable sound of giggles and tiny footsteps circling the room. My heart was pounding so hard I thought it might burst out of my chest. We huddled together and with trembling hands pushed the door open. The room inside was completely bare. No furniture, no children, nothing. Just sunlight cutting through the cracks in the boarded window. And yet the sound was there. Laughter all around us, as though invisible children were running past our legs, brushing against us, playing their games while we stood frozen in terror. Suddenly, the door slammed shut behind us. We screamed. The laughter turned into shrieks, high-pitched and deafening, echoing off the empty walls. Something tugged at my hair. My friend yelped that something had pulled his shirt. We were surrounded, but we couldn't see anyone. Panic took over. We ran to the door, pulling and yanking until it finally burst open. We didn't look back. We bolted down the stairs, out the front door and onto the street, not stopping until we were far, far away. That night, none of us slept well. We didn't talk about it much the next day, but we all knew we had experienced the same thing. Invisible children in that house. Children who weren't alive anymore. After that day, we never went back inside. We didn't even dare step onto the porch again. Eventually, the town demolished the house, and today there's nothing left of it. Just an empty lot where grass grows unevenly. But whenever I walk past that place, I swear I can still hear it. Faint giggles carried on the wind.